Let me just make sure that this is doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So still trying to figure some stuff out, but we're getting close. Now I just have to get the the title and stuff to update, because I thought it updated automatically, but apparently I was wrong. So we're gonna go to this, and then we're actually gonna go back to this. All right. Hopefully everything is still live streaming. Okay, so as I suspected, that didn't stream, that didn't update. Okay, so now we're live streaming, and let me just let people know that this is NaNoWriMo Day 9. Day 9, Street Legendary. All right. Thanks for joining me on this Saturday live writing session. Getting some Captain Infinity. We're getting some Captain Infinity, some heroic Captain Infinity. Work done. Oh, look at that, just updating just like that, huh? Okay, well, stuff is updating, changes are saved, everybody's seeing what I'm doing, and now we can do a little bit of writing. Right, Captain Infinity. All right, where are we at? Page 13. Okay, got some stuff going on. All right, guys. All right, so when we last left off, our one of our main characters, Jessica Beck, was in the middle of an argument with Vivette Pennington, who is her boss. Jessica Beck is a professor at a university, Platinum City University, a made-up city that we made up for our Creative Extreme universe. And we're using it here in this story. So Platinum City University is this prestigious university. Platinum City is a huge city. Go to www.thecreativeextreme.com if you want to see more about Platinum City. So we're going to Platinum City, and Platinum City University, Jessica Beck is a hyper anthropologist, which means that she studies how hyper beings or people with powers affects the rest of society. And she has come to some conclusions that despite what everyone else is saying, everyone else is like, oh, heroes are great, people with powers are amazing, they have the world is becoming a much better place, more efficient place because of people with powers. She is seeing some trends that she believes is going to lead to either a lot of terrible things or just destruction in general of the universe. And she is saying that she's seen it from history, but also from future history, because in the very first scene of this story, we meet Cynthia, who is a hyper being who can travel through time. And there's a few other hyper beings on the planet, and they have traveled to the future, and they've brought research back so that now we have future historical textbooks. So kids are learning about the future history of the world. And Cynthia is saying that while people are learning about the future history of the world, they're not heeding the signs that future history is teaching them, and we're going down the same path. So what we're creating here is a suggestion that Dr. Jessica Beck and Cynthia are going to cross paths, because the two of them seem to be screaming into a void that we need to be careful of what's coming if we continue to hyper integrate the world at such a fast pace, because that's the main argument that Jessica Beck is making. We don't know why Cynthia is tripping out, but we know that Dr. Jessica Beck is tripping out because she is already seeing signs that future history and history is telling her that hyper-integration, the idea of hyper beings being fully integrated into society, is not all it's cracked up to be. So we're going to continue the discussion between Jessica and Yvette, and we are going to go back and review. All right, so we're in Jessica Beck's office in Platinum City University. Her office is a mess. There's a chime, and we're saying that Yvette's calling her, but as I discussed in the last stream, or the last stream or the stream before maybe, we might end up having Yvette actually come to Jessica Beck's office rather than have this video screen chat. So haven't totally decided that yet, but let's see where we are. The discussion nonetheless stays the same in essence, but it'll change kind of like the dynamic if she's actually in the office and whether she's not. So, but if we change that dynamic, then we'll change the conversation accordingly. But right now, I'm just trying to get it down on paper. So she says, she looks at an ID, department head Yvette Pennington, not now. She reluctantly accepts the call, and Yvette shows up on one of the holographic screens. Jessica puts on a pleasant face. Hi, Dr. Pennington. Hello, Dr. Beck. To what do I owe this pleasure? I read your latest editorial. Jessica goes over to the shelves and pretends to be looking for something. In fact, everyone did. And everyone is calling for your head. Are you surprised? This is academia. It's academia. If someone isn't calling for your head, are you really doing your job? Your job is to research, to lecture, and to present fact-based arguments and hypotheses, not to opine that hyperbeings will lead to the demise of the planet. I didn't say that, Yvette, and you know it. Besides, it's not an opinion. Besides, what I wrote is not an opinion. Because you can't say, I didn't say that, and then say, besides, it's not an opinion. So we've got to modify that a little bit because it wouldn't make sense. What I wrote is not an opinion. It's backed up by future historical data. These are facts. If that's the case, then why do none of your peers or colleagues agree with you? Because they're scared of hyper beings. I refuse to base my findings on fears. Not findings, base my literature. Why would we be afraid? Full hyperbeing integration has done nothing but change the world for the good. Full hyperbeing integration has done nothing but change the world. Having people with powers accepted into the greater society is the world for good. We're going to switch this up and instead have this say has integration. Full hyperbeing integration is a good thing. Having people with powers accepted into the greater society has done nothing but change the world for the good. Okay, so nothing. So we're going to forget about all those supervillains out there. All right, so this is where we kind of left off. Of course. Of course not. But the heroes are handling that. But the heroes are handling that. Of course not, but the heroes are handling that. But the hero, but that's what the heroes are for. But the heroes are handling that. Advances we're talking about. Yeah, this would be better if she was in the room because then we can kind of have like this back and forth. We're talking about advances in the physical sciences, hyper technology beyond our wildest dreams. Almost every field, from sanitation to entertainment, is better and more efficient than ever. That's right. So what's Jessica Beck gonna say here? I'm keeping that stuff just in case I come back to it. I don't want to forget it. Jessica Beck needs to say something. Of course not, but the heroes are handling that. We're talking about advances in the physical sciences, hyper technology beyond our wildest dreams. Almost every field, from sanitation to entertainment, is better and more efficient than ever. But can't you? More efficient. Am I spelling this wrong? Oh, sorry. Yes, you guys get to see me spell words wrong, or spell words incorrectly. More efficient. Than ever. In the future historical data yeah, Brand. Yeah, trying to come up with different ways to say things is always a challenge, right? But so yeah, just trying to figure out the best way to say. And again, this is very first drafty, right? So I'm just trying to get things on paper. But yeah. Talking. So remind me, Brian, are you doing are you working on a project right now? The future historical data. Let me see. Almost every field, from sanitation to entertainment, is better and more efficient than ever. In the future historical data. Right, that's right. The epic fantasy sci-fi series. That's right. How's it coming along? Is it how's it going? And the future historical data is I want to say this. It's better and more efficient than ever. In the future historical data is the heroes are handling that. We're talking about advances in the physical sciences, hypertechnology beyond our wildest dreams. Almost every field, from sanitation to entertainment, is better and more efficient than ever. And the future historical data shows that. Oh yeah. When the characters start dictating the story, hey, you got to run with them, right? Gotta run with them. Because if you try to fight against where your characters are telling you, sometimes that can really mess things up. Those efficiencies, those very efficiencies could lead to the very things, could lead to yeah, most deaf. Yeah, it's a fine line, right? Because we create an outline in order to kind of keep us on a track, right? We put an outline together and we say, all right, as I'm walking through it, this is what I'm gonna do. It's gonna stick to, kind of stick to a certain plan. And then we get in there, our characters start talking to us, they start having conversations with one another, and all of a sudden they start straying away from your outline, and you're like, why did I even do an outline to begin with? But again, it's important to have that outline either way, even if your characters start telling you that, no, I want to go a different way, or I want to do something else, or it's great to start with the outline. It keeps us going. So like that's really that happens to me quite a bit. It happens to me quite a bit when I start, because even with this project, there was a few days ago I was doing a stream, and I was researching a character's name, and I found I used the name Pilar to talk about somebody who has some type of significance in the catastrophic events that happened in this story. And when I found the name Pilar and I looked it up and I saw that it had a very specific meaning, that changed the significance of that character. I mean, it's still similar, like it's a similar significance, but because I found the name and it had like a certain meaning to it, I was like, oh my goodness, I can do something different and perhaps even more impactful with this now that I know that name, So it's now that I have that name. So it's that discovery is so cool when you discover something new. At the same time, sometimes we have to rein our characters in, and where do we draw that line, right? Where do we draw that line between reining a character in, or reining in our story, or letting our characters just dictate where we're going? So I mean, it's amazing. It's why I love this writing stuff so much. I love this writing stuff so much. Yeah. So future historical data shows. Let's see. Right. Absolutely. Let's see. It was this. Oh, it's incredible. It's incredible. I actually always, suggest to people that if you are trying to come up with a name for your character, I mean, that's one of the places where your research can really help you open up your story, or really help you develop your story. Looking up names, looking up the meanings of names, looking up where names come from, looking up names of significant people that might have something that they've done in their life, or in something that they've written that relates to what you're writing about. And then, those are the things that, one day when our stories get big and famous and we're being interviewed by somebody, it's like, so where did you get, how did you come up with this name? And you can say, well, I found it. I found that this person had this significance, and it helped me write my story. Like, for example, just a few streams ago, I found out, I was looking up time terms, and I found the name Kappa, which is what I'm gonna use as kind of like a scale for when these time explosions, these chronobombs that go off in this universe of this story, when there's reverberations afterward. I was going to use like the way we use the Richter scale to measure earthquakes and tremors and aftershocks. We're going to use a Kappa scale. And I found out that Kappa is a time term. And then I love the movie Sunshine. And I realized that the main character in the movie Sunshine, his name was Kappa. And when I saw it all those years ago, and I've watched it several times, I never knew that Kappa, what Kappa meant. And now when I saw that, I was like, oh, it makes perfect sense. You know, it's significant to the character in that story that his name would be Kappa. Kappa's not just a random name, you know? So, and so it was, I was blown away by that revelation. And so now it's so like you're saying, like, it's so cool when a name just like fits, like, it's like you said, like it's destined to be, you know, to go with your character, to go with the story that you're telling. I mean, man, it's, you know, those are the kind of things that when you're having like one of those bad days, you're like, oh man, like, is this ever going to end, or is this story ever going to come together, or, you know, I don't know what to write next or how I'm going to do it. And then all of a sudden something like that happens, and you're like, all right, I think I can keep going. You know, I think I can keep going. It gives me a little bit more juice, a little more energy. So it's yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Join it. So yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes. And those are the feelings you need to keep going, you know, because you know how it is. Writing can be a long slog. It can be, you know, writing, especially when you're writing something big like an epic fantasy. You know, so it's yeah. So when something hits you and it's like, you know, keep going. You gotta ride that momentum. You gotta ride that wave as long as you can. You know. It's really cool. It's really cool. And so, but yeah, this is coming along. this is coming along. You know. do you know how many words do you have so far for your for your piece? Have you been counting the words? I know like the standard is like, oh, you got to try and get 50,000 words in a month. I don't think I'm going to get 50,000 words because the format I'm doing is just, you know, like it's a lot less word heavy. But yeah, but either way, the point is to get something down on paper, you know, every day. That's the point. That's a challenge, and that's the push. So anything is any words on paper on any given day, that's a victory, even if we don't hit 50,000 by the end of the month, you know. In the future, circle data shows that those very efficiencies could lead to what else I have a full-time job. 6,000. Woo! Hey, that's dope. 6,000. I like it. Get 10. I think you can do it, man. I think you can do it. Or man, I'm saying man. I think you can do it. Man in general. But yeah, it's a 6,000. That's good though. That's good. Crack it away. Love it. I love it. Get it going. Yeah, it's with a full-time job, I wouldn't call 6,000. I wouldn't call 6,000 behind. That's, I know the pace. I know what you're saying, that the pace is, you know, you're not quite on pace, but hey, working that full-time job, you got other responsibilities and obligations, and you're still putting in 6,000 words. Come on. Hey, well, thanks for joining in. I love talking about writing. I love discussing what we're doing as we're going along. You know, one of the decisions that one of the things that I've been doing is I've only been working on this while I'm streaming, but I'm thinking about doing a little bit of off streaming or doing a second stream in a day, just to get a little bit more work in. Yeah, just because I'm a freelancer, but I have clients, different jobs, and you know, I do different things, and then I have children, and even this stream, I'm only going to be hanging out here for another maybe 15 minutes or so because I have to take one of my children to an event. But yeah, but it was cool. But even talking about writing, you know, one of the great things about connecting with other writers and other people who are doing this is, yeah, just talking about it and inspiring one another. Like we're all in this together, inspiring one another to write. I think one of the great things about technology is that we can find communities of writers and different people to connect with. So, it's great. So like even this is having this discussion. I know like, oh well, it's not a whole lot of writing going on right now, but that's cool though, because this is still inspiring me and helping me to have more energy for this project, for this particular project, and getting it done. So it's good stuff, man. It's good stuff. Take that break, get re-energized, and then 4,000 words. Hey, thank you. Oh man, I applaud you, and I applaud anyone who's taken on this endeavor. But yeah, it's definitely a fun process. I've had a really good time, doing this, and yeah, one of the things it's teaching me is it is teaching me a little bit of discipline also, because you know how like when you're working on a project and you're like, oh, I need like a chunk of time to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to have that much time. So I'll wait till tomorrow when I think I'll have more time. And then that day gets filled up, and then the next day gets filled up. And then you get like 4 or 5 days down the road and you realize you haven't really put pen to paper, in a while. And you're like, so this for me is like, well, okay, even if I just get like an hour in or 45 minutes in, I'm going to at least pull up the document, read through it, talk through it, put a little bit down on paper, and at least when I get to the end of those 4 or 5 days, I at least have something done instead of nothing done, which is, something that we do to ourselves a lot as writers, where we're like, well, today I'm not really feeling it, so, we convince ourselves not to go. But, if we can just get whatever we can get done anyway, like you said, any way you can get it in, it's gotta make it happen. So but yeah, it's fun, but I'm having a good time with it, so yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. we might have to coin that hashtag, that NaNoRebel. NaNoRebel, for sure. It's a yeah, gotta set your own goals. Gotta set goals, period, right? And if they're not like the blueprint of what other people are talking about doing for NaNoWriMo or whatever it is, it's just indeed. Indeed. So it's cool, but yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just, just getting everything, like, kind of trying to get, try not to let everything else, crowd your expectations and your judgment of what you're doing, and just going after it. Like that's key. That is key, so it's cool. That's cool. Or are you going to, for your epic fantasy, sci-fi epic fantasy, is that something that you are going to put out for people to read, or is it more like a personal project? And are you looking to try and get it published, self-publishing, traditional publishing? What's the what are the thoughts? I mean, I know it's early in the process and everything, and you don't want to, maybe not thinking end game just yet, but what would be like, what would be the dream? What would be the dream? Sweet. Yes. Sweet. Yes, I've done some self-publishing, and I mean, any way you can get it out there, and there's a lot of companies that have great self-publishing services. I mean, like, well, Amazon has a great self-publishing that I haven't even taken advantage of yet. I've been using a print company. Who just takes books and print it. And I haven't done anything like this. I've done like comic book stuff, and I guess this is comic book stuff too. But I haven't done like a novel self-publishing project yet. But there's a lot of great self-publishing avenues you can take, and there's some great self-publishing avenues you can take that don't require you to like necessarily pay another service to do it. You can pay like somebody to do like the layout of the book, and then you can just send that to a printer and they can print it out. Most places do soft covers, but there's a few places that do hard covers, and that's where your costs will come in with self-publishing. But at the same time, looking into self-publishing, definitely looking into traditional publishing also. You send that manuscript out once it's all polished up and ready to rock and roll. Yeah, send that manuscript out to some publishers. You never know. Got to take your shot. I don't know who said it. Was it Michael Jordan or someone? I don't know who said it, but you miss all the shots you don't take. So you might as well take a few. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's always a question to ask, But one of the, from what I understand, when it comes to, there's a lot of the smaller publishers, they'll print it for you, and and do all that kind of like back end stuff, but the smaller ones won't ask you to give up ownership of your intellectual property. So if you have them publish your book and they put it out there and they slap their their name on it, and they start putting it out, like they'll do the promotion and everything like for that, and then they'll take a cut. Here's the thing. Writing books and releasing books, it's not something that's like going to be glamorously profitable. So a lot of people sometimes get discouraged when someone says, oh, well, they will publish my book, but they're only going to cut me off like this small percentage of the profits. Like that's normal, right? So if you do, so if a smaller publishing company says, hey, yep, we'll take on the cost of printing it and and here's your cut, but you still keep ownership of the book, like that's perfectly normal. As far as I know, the experience from people I talked to, like I said, I've not gone traditional publishing route yet. I do intend to do that. My partner and we are looking into submitting stuff to some comic book companies, bigger comic book companies, who they take submissions. So we'll see how that goes. But all of them have told us that they're not buying our intellectual property. They are like licensing the right to print it for us. So we still produce everything, and our artists will make the do all the images, and we'll do all the writing and editing and everything like that. And then if they accept it, they will publish it under their banner, whether it's like something like Image or Dark Horse or whatever. They'll publish it under their banner, but we maintain the rights of the intellectual property. And in that case, we don't have to worry about, like, if let's say our book takes off and one of our books takes off and someone's like, oh my goodness, I want to make this into a movie. They don't go to the publishing company and say, oh, well, Dark Horse, you published this book, can we make it into a movie? No, they come to us, so they come to the creators, because we still own the rights to the book. So yeah, intellectual property is always something that we kind of wrestle with as writers, especially with this. Like, I mean, even think about this. I'm writing this publicly, right? Everybody can go back through the streams and read the whole thing. And I'm actually going to make a PDF of the document, which I was supposed to do like 2 days ago, but make a PDF of the document as I'm going. Somebody could like read it, Of course, I have the receipts right here. If someone's like, oh, well, I created this, I can say, no, you didn't. I have days and days of video of me talking about it and writing it, so I created it. So I had those receipts. But at the same time, I'm a believer that the only person who can tell a story you're trying to tell is you. You know, so if somebody does want to like take your story and try to tell it, or quote unquote steal your idea, it'll still be different from the idea you're putting out. You know, there's plenty of time travel stories. There's plenty of superhero stories. And that's pretty much what this is a time travel story meets a superhero story. And then, you know, I've added some ideas about, like I'm getting into right here, is about how the different ways people with powers can affect society. And that's nothing that's necessarily, you know, something revolutionarily new. And we haven't even gotten into the hero stuff yet. But it's just my take on it, you know? I mix up my way, you know? But yeah, all kinds of different avenues to take, you know, all kinds of different ideas. But yeah, yep. All that aside, though, that's super cool that you have that you're getting it out there for people to read, you know. But yeah, but we're taking the biggest first steps right now is locking down and getting it done, right? Because a lot of people have ideas, but if you have an idea out there, you know, let's write it, you know. Be like Brand. Be like me. Just get out there and write it. Put it down on paper. You know, it's you just never know what could happen once you got that manuscript done. You know, once you get that manuscript done, you start showing it to people. You know, you know, I mean, we've seen the amount of books that are out there. If you ever go into a library or a bookstore, there's like hundreds and thousands of books. People are looking for stuff to publish. People are looking for stuff to publish, and people are looking for stuff to read. Never underestimate, you know, the demand for more materials for people to read. People love reading. Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to get this out to as many people as possible. You know, so. Yeah. Yep. When I was young and I started telling people I wanted to be a writer, they told me, I had somebody say to me, "Oh, so you want to do the starvation occupation?" And I was like, "Well, that's encouraging." The starvation occupation. That's what we're gonna go with. So I was like, "Oh man, I don't. That's not the most encouraging thing." But I'm like, hey, you know, might as well take the shot. Yeah, I've not quit my day job. My wife works. We both continue to work as we work on this stuff. So, yeah. But thank you, thanks a bunch. Thanks for the encouragement. Yeah, I know. You know, yeah. Thanks for the encouragement, and yeah. Keep going. So, but yeah. So, well, I'm sure it's getting a little bit to the end of your break, and it's actually getting the end of me because I have to cut this one short because yes, I have to take my daughter to an event. So I'm gonna go drop her off and then do a little more writing on a different project that I'm working on. But then I will be back tomorrow, and then of course the next day. I'm gonna try and stick to similar times, you know, like or the middle of the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, right around there. But at the end of the day, if I miss that time, it might end up being later, just because, you know, I have to get the writing in, and it's not always, the schedule doesn't always permit me to do it right at this time. But yes, well, but thanks for the conversation. I love it. Feel free at any time to interrupt me. I don't want you to think that, oh, well, he didn't get much writing done because we chatted. Like I said, this is part of the process. So, you know, thank you. You too. Go for 10K. If you hit 10K, whether you hit 10K or not, check in with me tomorrow, or drop me a message on this and let me know where you got to. All right. So keep me posted. All right. Catch you later. This was great. Thank you. I agree. We'll talk soon. All right. All right, take care. All right, take care, everybody. CreativeExtreme.com, Str8 Legendary Facebook. We got to get on like Instagram and Twitter. I'll get there eventually. I know that's where more people are, and or there's also great communities of writing. Peace, Bram, and more communities of writers and more people who we can connect with and everything. So we'll get there. But for now, catch us on Facebook, YouTube, and the Creative Extreme website, Str8 Legendary Facebook page. And you shout out to Team Bandwagon, TCIS, and all the other creative folk who I have the privilege of being connected with. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time. The legend grows, my friends. Huzzah!